Yeah, good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting for Monday, June 24th, 2024. I am Mayor Kurt Wilson. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Councilmember Lee Hills has an excused absence this evening, Councilmember David Johnson, Councilmember William Mortland, and Councilmember Alan Sells. I'd also like to recognize our city attorney to my left, Mr. David Davidson, and I'd also like to recognize our newest member of the Roswell family, Assistant City Attorney Joe Cusack. Joe, welcome. Go ahead and stand and let everybody know you are. And at this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our city administrator to my right, Mr. Randy Knighton. Mr. Knighton will explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening, everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, City Council shall hold regular public meetings, and the purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. A significant and important component of city council meetings are to hear directly from residents on these items listed on the agenda. Public comments or questions are essential for mayor and council to incorporate as they contemplate each decision. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart, and therefore it is imperative for mayor and council to hear from residents in these meetings. If you would like to speak on an item, we ask that you fill out a comment card, which are located in the back of the room and at the podium in order to ensure an accurate record of the meeting. We ask, of course, that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. The mayor is the presiding officer of the meeting and will ensure the orderly exchange of questions, comments, and discussion leading to decision-making by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for meetings, events, and departmental information. We also encourage everyone to review and participate in the various activities and offerings in the city of Roswell, and visit roswell365.com for a list of those calendar events. There are a number of events scheduled upcoming in the city, which we will hear about shortly, along with some other announcements which promote leisure, physical activity, and as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. You can probably tell Mr. Knight is a little tired. He has been partying for the last 5 days in Savannah, Georgia at the GMA with the rest of the senior leadership team. So you have to forgive him a little bit. He's a little tired. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. All right, this time we are very privileged to have the City Roswell Fire Department chaplain, the wonderful Dory Griggs, to ask her to come forward to lead us in the invocation and moment of silence. Dory?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Good to see you. Please join me. A little radioactive tonight. Gracious God, we see you in the beautiful parks, the river, and the faces of each of the residents of our great city. In the midst of our busy lives, remind us to seek serenity in the beauty all around us. Part of what makes our community a great place to live is the respect we show to each other as neighbors. Tonight, we show our appreciation for the service of esteemed veteran of Roswell, United States Air Force Captain Arden Goodman. Bless him and his family. Please watch over all our veterans and active duty members of the United States Armed Services. We are fortunate to have an amazing team of public safety departments, 911 communications, fire, and police. Please keep them safe as they work to keep our community safe. Watch over the proceedings today, guide our elected leaders, staff of the city, and our residents as the business of the city is discussed. It is with grateful hearts that we give thanks to our city, its leadership, and our community. Amen.
Thank you, Roswell Fire Department Chaplain Dory Greggs. Dory does a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Dory. Thank you. At this time, I have the pleasure and privilege, I'd like to ask United States Air Force Captain Arden Goodman to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Captain.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Captain. At this time, Captain Goodman, I'm going to ask you to stay up there, and I'm going to ask the council to come down and join me as we read the first item under the mayor's report, which is the reading of a proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell. They are cold. It's cold up there. It's lonely and cold. Like climbing Mount McKinley. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Captain Robert Arden Goodman, United States Air Force. Whereas Captain Robert Arden Goodman has demonstrated unwavering dedication and exemplary service to our nation as a distinguished member of the United States Air Force. And whereas Captain Robert Goodman, inspired by his father, a decorated World War II Army Air Corps pilot, he enrolled in the Air Force ROTC while attending East Carolina University on a football scholarship, ultimately pursuing his lifelong dream of aviation. Whereupon his graduation in 1967, Captain Robert Goodman was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force and assigned to flight training at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, Texas, where he completed advanced jet training in the T-38 Talon in May of 1969. And whereas Captain Robert Goodman chose the challenging role of flying the new O-2A aircraft as a forward air controller, leading him to serve bravely in the Republic of Vietnam, where he directed close air support for ground troops and acted as the on-scene commander during tactical operations. And whereas Captain Robert Goodman underwent rigorous training, including special air warfare, basic survival, jungle and sea survival, and after Vietnam, transitioned to flying the KC-135, completing aircraft commander training. And whereas Captain Robert Goodman's distinguished military career included flying 339 combat missions as a combat forward air controller and an additional 83 combat missions in the KC-135, earning him 24 medals and ribbons, including the Silver Star, Distinguished Flying Cross, 12 Air Medals, 2 Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Crosses, and the Vietnam Service Medal with 4 Bronze Stars. And whereas after his honorable discharge as a captain in February of 1973, Robert Goodman continued his aviation career with Delta Airlines, where he flew for 31 years and retired as an international captain on the Boeing 777. And whereas Captain Robert Goodman has contributed to his community through coaching youth league soccer for 18 years and 8th grade football, and now enjoys supporting his grandchildren in their activities. Now, therefore, I, Colonel Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby name Captain Robert Arden Goodman, esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve in the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations, sir. would you like to say a few words to us? We'd love to hear them.
I'm not usually at a loss for words. My family can tell you that I can talk to a wall, and generally it's not bad until the wall starts talking back. Right now, I'm many emotions. Thankful, honored, humbled, grateful. Thankful to be here. I just turned 80 on Saturday, and I'm still looking down at the grass, so that's a good sign. Honored. This is an incredible honor, and having my family and neighbors here is even a greater honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Humbled. I'm one of 1 million or more vets that have served our country, and there aren't many that have been fortunate enough to have this kind of honor bestowed on them. So I would like to share this with them whatever I can. Grateful for this group of people here in front of me. My family and my friends are my life. That's what I live for. And I'm very blessed. Thank you very much.
Let's get a picture with all the family. Come on up, everybody. We're going to go to the back. Since you're gonna...
That way we can,
Oh, that's why they went back.
we want to be able to get everybody in there.
Did you really? Congratulations. Wow.
Let's make sure we can see Christine. Gonna hold that? Okay. Oh, that's perfect. There you go, there you go. Oh, that's beautiful. Hey, just keep smiling, I'll take a bunch. Great, thank you.
I think that is the first Silver Star recipient that we've had as a esteemed veteran in our 2.5 years of reading. And those of you who are familiar with the Silver Star, it is the second highest commendation that you can receive in the United States Armed Forces. The only thing above it is the Congressional Medal of Honor. So it is an incredible commendation given to someone who served. So we're honored to have Captain Goodman and his family with us tonight. Next on the mayor's report, do you think this got anything to do with it? Next on the mayor's report is the reappointment of Jahan Zabar to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Does council have any questions regarding the appointment of this outstanding gentleman? Being that there are none, Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Jaham Zabar to the Board of Zoning Appeals? Motion from Councilmember Christine Hall, seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Let the record state that the motion passes unanimously 5-0. Congratulations to Mr. Jabbar for his reappointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Actually, we'll clap later. Sorry about that, Susan. That was my bad. Yeah, I'm a little rusty. Next is next on the mayor's report is the reappointment of Mark Schumacher to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Does the council have any questions regarding this reappointment? Being that there are none, do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Mark Schumacher to the Board of Zoning Appeals? Motion made by Councilmember Christine Hall. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. Let the record show that the renomination or reappointment passes unanimously. Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to ask the reappointees to come forward, and I'm going to read the oath of office. All right, gentlemen, you're familiar with the oath? Got it in front of you? Yes, sir. All right, at this time, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible or the Quran in your instance, sir. All right. Gentlemen, oath of office, State of Georgia, County of Fulton, City of Roswell. I state your name.
I, Mark Schumacher. I, Jahazeb Jabbar.
I didn't mean to throw a curveball at you, too. All right.
Follow his lead.
Solemnly swear or affirm
Solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the State of Georgia,
and of the State of Georgia,
and that I will, in all respects,
and I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the City of Roswell.
and ordinances of the City of Roswell,
And I will well
and I will well
and truly perform the duties
and truly perform the duties
of the Office of Board of Zoning Appeals,
of the Office of Board of Zoning Appeals,
and that I will, to the utmost of my skill
and I will, to the utmost of my skill
and ability, endeavor to promote
and ability, endeavor to promote
the interest and property of said city
the interests and property of said city
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
or affection.
or affection.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
You got pens here? Thank you very much. Authorize this now, right? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for your service. We're tickled to death to have you both back on the Board of Zoning Appeals. The BZA does a lot of great work for the city, and we appreciate all of the people who serve on it. It takes a lot of their time, and they make a real difference in our city. So thank you, Mark, and thank you, Jazam, very much. At this time, on the mayor's report is a list of upcoming events in the city of Roswell, and I've asked Councilmember Sarah Beeson to share some of the events. Sarah.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm taking over for Councilmember Hills today for this during her outage. So if I mess it up, I apologize. If you're looking for a one-stop shop site for all events and activities in the city of Roswell, visit roswell365.com. This is a community calendar of events hosted by the city with local nonprofits, businesses, civic groups, and religious organizations hosting a community event in Roswell. So if you are a member of any of those types of organizations, please visit roswell365.com so that you can create an account and upload any of your events. And anybody in the public, please visit this website to see what is going on. In addition to what's listed on Roswell365.com, we have our Juneteenth celebration to honor freedom and culture. Juneteenth happened this past Wednesday, but here in the city of Roswell, we'll be recognizing it throughout the summer with Juneteenth Our Freedom exhibit at the Roswell Cultural Arts Center, which features the collective works of AFTA, the AAFTA. This exhibit runs through July 31st. Coming up next week, 4th of July. 4th of July extravaganza here in the city of Roswell. I think if anybody has seen how we celebrate the 4th of July in our country, I would argue that we do it right, if not the best. Come over to Roswell Area Park in the evening, 6:00 p.m. Bring your chairs, blankets, and to watch one of several fireworks viewing areas throughout the park with live music sponsored by Rock and Taco that kicks off at 6 p.m. We have specialty food trucks on site. Fireworks are scheduled to start at 9:30 p.m., give or take, earlier or later depending on the weather and when night falls. Next up is Music on the Hill. This free concert series takes place on the second Friday of each month, May through September, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. on City Hall grounds, just right here behind us outside these windows. This July 12th, Music on the Hill features Risky Biscuit. Get ready to spread out your blanket on the lawn, unpack your picnic, and unwind by listening to Risky Biscuit, some of the best live music in Atlanta. A food truck will be on site, and adult beverages are available for purchase. 2024's Alive in Roswell is alive and kicking every third Thursday of Roswell, April through October, 5 p.m. through 9 p.m. We just had Alive in Roswell for the month of June this past week. The next Alive in Roswell will be the week of July 18th. Alive in Roswell is a free monthly festival featuring music, food trucks, interactive vendors, and participation from the many surrounding boutiques, small businesses, and restaurants in the area. And lastly, we have Roswell's Riverside Sounds, Riverside Park, every fourth Saturday of the month, April through September as well, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Riverside Sounds is Roswell's longest-running free outdoor concert series, highlighting various musical genres and spotlighting original artists. The next Riverside Sounds is July 22nd with Rissy Palmer, whose versatility spans country music and R&B, offering a soulful musical experience blending various genres of popular music into what she terms Southern soul. Sounds very fitting for Roswell. So with that, Mayor, I'll kick it back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. And three things. One, I know that obviously you held up your end of the bargain. Lee's going to say, hey.
It's a Risky Biscuit.
That's right. Well, no, so obviously you are going to go see Risky Biscuit just for, all right.
I'm intrigued.
Okay. And then the most important question of all is, now that since Lee's not reading it and you're reading it this year, the real question everybody has is it going to rain? Is it going to rain on July the 4th?
Questions of it. Now that you've jinxed it. No, I will say it has rained the last 3 years consistently in a row, but we're going to will it to happen. Just like Memorial Day, we made it happen in Roswell. We're going to will it away so we can celebrate the 4th of July.
I like that. That's awesome. All right, so we're putting the full responsibility of it not raining on Sarah on 4th of July. Send your cards or letters appropriately. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it very much. All right, that concludes the mayor's report. Next is the consent agenda. Does council have any questions or comments regarding the items on the consent agenda? Being that council has no comments or questions, are there any Roswell residents that would like to speak on the consent agenda? Yes, sir. Welcome. Yes, sir. If you come up if you want. If you have a comment.
After his presentation.
Okay, so no comments on the consent agenda. All right. Yeah, that was done in committee, and there will be no presentation since it's on the consent agenda. Would you like to make a comment on it? Yes. Yes, sir. Please join us. And welcome. Please share with everybody your name, obviously, and where you live in Roswell.
I live in Roswell in Whitehall Way, 3076, and my name is Roman Perzak.
Welcome.
I just printed the agenda for the project, the approval with AMR. And I have some experience with this kind of a service. And I have some comments because I'm really surprised how much is not in the agenda what it is. First of all, according to this data, 75% of 9,900 calls are for emergency medical services. And I believe this is in Roswell, correct? The number. Is those emergency in Roswell or there's calls, 7,500 call, emergency medical service calls are in this area, correct? What's written here is correct?
Sir, it's your comment, your time.
Some of the stuff here, like time response that you represented, it says the system provide 12 minutes response time to serious calls, like Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and 20 minutes to minor calls. I don't know where the data came. The next one, it says priority posting plan. AMR will use data analytics for implementing a priority posting plan that consider historical pattern for call. If they already declared there's a 12 minutes and 20 minutes, what kind of data? They don't have data? Did you ask for data? What's a 12 or 20? On 7,500 cases, they already know there's 12 minutes and 20 minutes? Do you have the data? Did they give you the data about it, if it's true or not? You're going to sign a contract of $2 million with them per year. They gave us a service before too, and we didn't pay them $2 million. Why didn't you pay them $2 million? In addition, they said 20% that ensure at least 20% with a goal of 100%, the ambulances provide advanced life support care. It means if only 90%, and I believe it's lower, but if they want to sell you the project, it's higher, then 750 calls will not receive the proper service. 750 per year or 2 per day. Can we afford it? For this, we're paying $2 million. Last year, it was this year, I don't remember, there was a plan to purchase new ambulance for the fire department. However, you purchase a pickup truck. I saw it, and I was kind of say, we're talking about life, human life. Money is not a value, and I was told it will cost $500,000. Now you're going to spend $2 million. And the fire department doesn't have in my opinion, the proper ambulance. So I'm very surprised to read this one, not talking our words without air, bigger, smaller, better. What it means? Nothing, zero. So basically who is reading here, and I can read, and I see it is, every sentence in response time, priority posting plan, development levels, read it, what's written there. One contradicts the other. If they know this 12 minutes and 20 minutes, why do you need to do the study? Did they show you the study that's really 12 and 20 minutes?
Thank
Who
you,
is
sir.
deciding?
Thank you for your time. Thanks so much.
No,
Thank you.
who is deciding?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Randy, I know you negotiated on this contract for over a year with other city managers, other leadership in North Fulton. Would you like to address the gentleman's comments at all?
Sure, I'll address some of those comments, and we appreciate those comments, and always certainly invite a deeper discussion. I'll be glad to meet with you at your convenience to go over the numbers in detail. I will say this. Over the course of the past year, the North Fulton cities, Sandy Springs, Milton, Johns Creek, Alpharetta, and Roswell have met several times. The city administrators have met on several occasions, as well as our fire chiefs. And quite honestly, I'm not sure, and it's been reviewed by all of the respective attorney firms or in-house attorneys for each one of those cities.
Microphone.
There may not be a more scrutinized document, quite frankly. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Looks like we're having a trouble, so I'll speak louder.
I'm gonna play master for a second, see if that works. Nope.
All right, so I'll try to speak louder. There may not be a more scrutinized document, quite frankly, over the past several years with respect to maybe the lost local option sales tax negotiations. This was a coming together over a number of years, and AMR as a company has certainly been more revealing in the last 12 months than we've had success previously in trying to understand the data. And not only did they provide us with information that we requested, but we'll also have the ability to review response times basically on a monthly basis and quarterly basis going forward with the AMR brass to ensure that they are meeting these thresholds. I also want to emphasize that this is related to ambulance response. Typically, you'll have the respective municipality fire department showing up first, well in advance of a 12-minute or 13-minute threshold to administer life-saving care to a patient before the ambulance arrives. So I don't want that to be misconstrued at all. In addition, we ensured that we were, as we went through this process, that we were asking the right questions, not only our staff, but the city administrators and respective attorneys of AMR, and they have been more forthcoming than they have been previously. This is a partnership with them. The annual cost, it's not $2 million, the annual cost per the city of Roswell, if the mayor and council approve, is right at $500,000 per year. And that is split, that total cost is split between the municipalities of North Fulton on a prorated basis based on calls and or population. And so, and I'll close by saying this. Obviously, this is something that is extremely important, something that we approached with great intentionality. And given the number of administrative people, not only in the city of Roswell, but also the North Fulton cities that scrutinized this matter before it became before our respective elected bodies, we believe that we have an excellent agreement here that would provide response times at a very high threshold for North Fulton residents. We did not want to certainly end in situations like some other jurisdictions throughout the metro Atlanta area and or throughout the state that have had some serious concerns with ambulance response. Obviously, the cities of North Fulton want to have the highest level of service delivery, and we believe this agreement provides that. And there will be methods of review and scrutiny going forward to ensure those thresholds are being met. But again, I will be more than happy to sit down with you along with Chief Panino and go into detail about the agreement and any of the numbers that you provided. Also, I'll invite Chief Panino, if that's okay, Mayor.
I was fixing to do that, yes, sir.
I invite Chief Panino to provide any additional comments.
Thank you, City Administrator Knight, and I think you covered it well. I think it's worth mentioning that right now, AMR owns the North Fulton zone, and they do so because the state of Georgia pretty much awards them the zone, which means we cannot transport within our own city. That is a state legislation, a matter of state legislation.
Joe, I'm going to ask you, because what you just said, because if you're just a regular resident, it sounds incredible,
Sure.
right, what you just said, but I think you need to know this. Like, it informs this entire process, and I just want to buttress something Randy said. So I can tell you what it was like negotiating 24 months ago. And I can tell you that the work of Randy Knighton and the other city managers over the last 12 months, along with the fire chiefs of the respective North Fulton cities, led by Joe Panino, has been exemplary in trying to change some of this arrangement and a lack of leverage that the North Fulton cities have due to the onerous legislative state-making powers by the state of Georgia. And that's really what this is. The state of Georgia is an onerous political body, in my opinion, as a mayor of one of the cities, because it greatly restricts the ability of a sovereign city and its people to make decisions. And this contract is a perfect example of it. So if knowing, it's hard to share all of the details of this much information, but the work has been exemplary by City Administrator Randy Knighton and the Police Chief Joe Panino, along with their colleagues in North Fulton, in being able to exactly get a contract that's a lot more favorable and even more so, actually getting information from AMR with real data to put to it. So sorry, Joe, to interrupt you, but go ahead, please. I just want you to restate something that's very powerful in terms of informing this. And I don't know, y'all didn't talk about this in committee, I don't think.
We did.
Okay, I thought we did, okay.
Yeah, really, the state of Georgia is the only state in the southeast that does not allow local control in selecting an ambulance company. So we are the outlier in that regard. We did put forward, with the help of Senator Ours, Senate Bill 16, the Georgia EMS Reform Act, to try to get that passed to provide some local control for municipalities. It did not cross over this legislative session. Right now, just to continue to reiterate, state law does not set a standard for minimum response times or maximum response times for ambulances. So it is whatever that is reasonable, and there is not a quantitative or objective definition of that. So what this agreement does for the city of Roswell is ensure through a service level agreement that there is a minimum performance level. So for serious calls, that is 12 minutes of response time for an ambulance, where currently it's about 13 minutes and 40 seconds for the city of Roswell. So we are buying down response time for serious calls, and just as City Administrator Knighton stated, we're on scene in about 6 minutes on average to these medical calls with paramedics from the Roswell Fire Department that have the ability to do all the interventions that the ambulance company can do. The only thing that we would be waiting on between that 6 minutes potentially and the 12 minutes is for an ambulance to arrive to load the patient up to give them transport to the hospital. So our citizens are well cared for, and this agreement ensures that there is a minimum service level that will be provided by the ambulance company, and that will be reviewed monthly by the fire chiefs and quarterly by the city administrators, where they'll have to provide data and a review of their ongoing performance.
Thanks, Fire Chief Joe Panino. Thank you, City Administrator Randy Knighton, for your exemplary work on this matter. Roman, you're good. You're right to have questions, because we had a lot of questions. No, sir, we're good. Thanks very much. No, sir, you've had your 5 minutes. Thanks very much.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Well, what I'd say to you, Roman, is I hope we keep demonstrating. I hope this body of people keep demonstrating to you that they are doing the work of their fellow residents in a way that is serious. These are treating their work as serious. They're engaged. They're informed. And they're working at high levels of collaboration with the senior staff. And that well, good. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Beeson.
Just wanted to add, so we had a pretty extensive conversation on this during the June 11th committee meeting. So if you go on Facebook or on YouTube and go back and watch, you can see the conversation where not only does Chief Panino get into a little bit of the data, and then as well as we had several council members asking questions about the contract itself, including the penalties that would be paid by AMR if they did not meet those response time standards. So AMR would pay those penalties themselves, not the city of Roswell, to be more financially responsible to the taxpayers. So I do encourage not only you, but anybody who's watching, if there's ever an item on consent agenda that you have more questions about or kind of wonder why it seems like we're bypassing any conversations about it, it's likely because we had a fairly extensive conversation during the previous committee on that item. Thank you.
Thanks,
and thank
Sarah.
you for your question.
Any other comments, thoughts, or questions from Roswell residents on the consent agenda? Being that they're not, I bring it back to council for any final comments or questions on the consent agenda. Being that there are none, do I have a motion? Motion by Councilmember David Johnson on the consent agenda, seconded by Councilmember Sarah Beeson. All those in favor of passing the consent agenda for tonight, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the consent agenda passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you very much. All right, next is the regular agenda. Councilmember Hall, would you read the first item under administration, please, ma'am?
Yes, Mayor. Item number 1, approval of a resolution to establish a district to be known as the Crabapple Road Restaurant District and for other purposes. And this will be presented by our Deputy City Administrator, Jeff Leatherman.
Thanks, Christine. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to introduce this item and be happy, of course, to answer any questions. The resolution, as Councilmember Hall introduced, is to establish the Crabapple Restaurant District. As you see on the map here before you, the highlighted in blue section on the corner of Crabapple Road and Crossville Road is the geographic location where this restaurant district will be established, as approved by Mayor and Council. We have the exciting opportunity to see a new project coming forward at this business area. A couple of photos here show the area where this restaurant district will be established, and this project is actually going under a redevelopment with the developer, and they have put forward a request to consider this restaurant district. What they'll be doing is actually starting to modify this property from a traditional office park property into a kind of a combination use property. There will be restaurants, cafes, and some businesses located in those buildings under a remodel project. And more importantly, as you see on the map here, and I'll go back one picture, you kind of see in the front of the building, if you look at the top left, there's a parking lot where that white car is parked between all the buildings. Through the remodel process, that parking lot will be transformed, you can see it on the map there, into more of a courtyard area. It'll have synthetic turf lawn in the front, and it'll be a gathering place for people that are visiting this area to be able to enjoy, whether it be a cup of coffee or perhaps, as we're proposing here, the ability to walk out of a front door if there is a restaurant in the area to bring that alcoholic beverage with them to this location. And fundamentally, what the question is before you is just that, is whether or not to allow somebody to purchase an alcoholic beverage at a restaurant within this district and be able to walk out the front door. That is what the resolution does and what the authority you are providing if you were to pass this moving forward today. And these are a couple of just the images that the developer has put forward. It's gone through the BZA review process, and we are recommending moving this forward. I'll just flip through a couple of the images that you'll see as part of the redevelopment process. And we're excited to bring this project forward. And I'll just leave it with a couple of comments that I think over the course of the next probably 30, 60, 90 days, as we continue to enhance our economic development strategy, you're going to see more projects moving forward here in the city of Roswell, which we're excited about, and be available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it very much. Council, have any questions or comments on this project? Being that there are none, I'll ask if any Roswell residents have any questions or comments on this particular item. Being that there are none, I bring it back to council for any final comments or questions. All right, Christine Hall, would you like to make a motion, please, ma'am?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve item number 1, approval of a resolution to establish a district to be known as the Crabapple Road Restaurant District and for other purposes.
Thanks, Councilmember Hall. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor of approval of this item, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the item passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Next on the agenda is the Finance Department. Councilmember Hall, would you read the first item under Finance, please?
Yes, Mayor. Item number 2, approval of a resolution for the fiscal year 2024 end-of-year budget amendment, and this will be presented by our budget manager, Lynn Williams.
Thank you, Christine. Welcome, Lynn.
Good evening. So today I'm here to talk about the end-of-year budget resolution. This is for the current year and not for the next year that we just approved. So this is for the one that is ending on June 30th. So this is wrapping up our fiscal year. All right. I'm going to show the resolution and then talk about general fund and then the other funds. So this is the resolution to adopt the end-of-year budget amendment and adopting all budget amendments that have been completed for the FY. And so in general fund, we are looking at adjusting some of the revenues. We are lowering sales tax, increasing additional interest that we have collected this year, some property tax revenue adjustments. Most of this is related to the state homeowner grant, and it is also that y'all were able to roll back the millage rate and reduce the property taxes. So, and the state homeowner grant there was a one-time from the state on the governor. So electric franchise fees, want to recognize that additional revenue, and insurance premium also came in well. So we're doing some transfers to cover the legal fees and professional services there, and want to recognize some donations that Fire had received and recognize the revenue and expenses there. Insurance reimbursements, this was for a Roswell area park shelter and a car that had run into a boardwalk. And so in both of those cases, we do have insurance money that covers those expenses. And so this is recognizing that revenue and expense. We have $20,000 for purchase of training and equipment, and this is within the police department. At the bottom of this on the screen is the auditing adjustment to recognize the lease program on the vehicles, and that's an estimated number. And then I also have the 2023 VEST grant that was applied for but not accepted yet, so that would recognize that. And then for group health, group benefits, we have a stop-loss reimbursement that allows us to reimburse ourselves from insurance if claims are exceptionally high. So we were able to have additional revenue. Want to recognize that revenue and expense. And then this is the list of amended revenues and expenditure budgets by fund, by department. That is the resolution.
Thank you, Lynn, very much. Does council have any questions or comments for Lynn? Very good, thank you. Do any Roswell residents have any comments or questions on this matter at hand? Being that there are none, I've asked council, any final thoughts, comments, or questions on this resolution? All right, very good. Councilmember Hall, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve item number 2, approval of a resolution for the fiscal year 2024 end-of-year budget amendment.
Thanks, Kings Christine, very much. Seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. We have a theme tonight. All those in favor of the approval of the resolution for the FY 2024 end-of-year budget amendment, please raise your hands. Let the record show that it passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone. All right, next on the agenda is the Community Development Department. Councilmember Northland, would you read your item under the Community Development, please?
Yes, sir. Number 202405005. This is 55 West Crossville Road, Parkway Village, small tract request. We have a note in the file that says the applicant has requested a deferral to the July 22nd, 2024 mayor and council hearing.
Outstanding, thank you. Deferral has been requested. I'm going to assume that a deferral is good by the council this juncture. Very good. So at this time, we'll move on. Thank you, Jackie, very much. What do we need?
Motion and vote.
Oh, man, sorry, guys.
You got a good straw poll.
I've got this, I know. Well, I got Johnson over here. He's.
I'm ready to second.
I know.
I'm not making the motion, but
All
I'll
right.
second anything.
Is there a motion to approve the deferral to July 22nd? Made by Councilmember Northland, thank you. Is it seconded? It's by Councilmember David Johnson. All those in favor of approving the deferral to July 22nd, 2024 mayor and council meeting, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the deferral is unanimously supported. Thank you very much. All right. Next on the agenda is the city attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing on my report. There will be no closure.
David, that's not what you told me. You told me we had a long.
He said, oh,
All right. Thank you, David.
Councilmember Sells wants to vote on it.
Okay. All right, being that there are no other items, this mayor and council meeting of June 24th, 2024 is adjourned. Thanks very much. Yeah.